The courtroom smelled faintly of old wood and polished floors. Dust floated in shafts of light through the high windows, and the buzz of whispers filled the gallery. It was just another Monday morning in Judge Whitaker's court, or so everyone thought. At the defense table sat a man in his early 30s, calm but watchful. His name was Malcolm Hayes. Dressed in a modest gray suit, tie slightly loosened, he didn't look like much. Just another defendant waiting for the system to decide his fate. Judge Whitaker glanced at him over the rim of his glasses, lips curling into a smirk. "This shouldn't take long," he muttered, loud enough for the room to hear. The gallery chuckled. The prosecutor smiled faintly. The bailiff even smirked. To them, this was routine. But to Malcolm, this was something else entirely. Whitaker leaned back in his chair, fingers tapping the armrest lazily. He carried the air of a man who'd seen this all before. A man convinced he already knew the outcome. The prosecutor rose, buttoning his suit jacket. His voice was crisp, polished, confident. "Your Honor, the state intends to show that the defendant, Malcolm Hayes, engaged in fraudulent activity, falsifying documents to secure contracts his company was not qualified for. The evidence is overwhelming." The gallery nodded. It sounded convincing, straightforward. Another case to be wrapped before lunch. Judge Whitaker tilted his head at Malcolm. "You're not planning to waste the court's time, are you? We've all got better things to do." His tone was mocking, laced with superiority. A ripple of laughter moved through the courtroom. But Malcolm didn't flinch. He simply folded his hands on the table and waited. When given the chance, Malcolm rose slowly, his chair scraping against the tile. His voice was calm, measured. "Your Honor, I'll be representing myself." Gasps scattered through the gallery. The prosecutor smirked. "Oh, this will be fun," he said under his breath. Judge Whitaker chuckled, shaking his head. "You'll what?" "I'll be defending myself," Malcolm repeated, his gaze steady. The judge leaned forward. "Son, this isn't a game. You're facing serious charges. Fraud, potential prison time. Do you even understand what you're up against?" Malcolm's lips curved slightly. "More than you know." The room shifted. The laughter dimmed. Something in his tone suggested he wasn't bluffing. The prosecutor launched into his opening argument, laying out documents, signatures, contracts. To the jury, it looked airtight. Every word dripped with confidence. When it was Malcolm's turn, he stepped forward, holding only a single folder. His voice didn't rise, but it carried a quiet weight. "You claim these contracts were falsified," he began, "and that my company was unqualified. Tell me, counselor, did you personally review the state licensing board records?" The prosecutor blinked. "That's irrelevant. Answer the question." Silence stretched. The jury leaned in. "No," the prosecutor admitted reluctantly. "Because if you had," Malcolm continued, opening his folder, "you would know my company held every required license. Verified, stamped, approved." He held up the papers. The jury murmured. Whitaker frowned. "Order in the court." But Malcolm wasn't finished. He turned sharply to the prosecutor. "And the witness you plan to call? The state contractor who claims he never approved my application? Would you like to explain why his signature is already on file? Under oath." The prosecutor's face paled. Whitaker shifted uncomfortably. His smirk had disappeared. The prosecutor scrambled through his notes, stammering. This is highly unusual." Malcolm closed the folder. "What's unusual is building a case on lies. What's worse is a courtroom where bias speaks louder than truth." He paused, then reached into his jacket pocket. The gallery held its breath. Malcolm pulled out a slim leather wallet. He flipped it open, revealing a gold badge. The room froze. "My name is Malcolm Hayes," he said evenly. "Federal prosecutor, Department of Justice." The silence cracked like glass. The gallery erupted in whispers. The prosecutor's papers slipped from his hands. And Judge Whitaker leaned back slowly, eyes wide, face draining of color. Malcolm's tone sharpened. "This court thought it was trying me, but the truth is, I've been investigating you. He fixed his eyes on Whitaker. For misconduct. For prejudice. For twisting the law against people you never intended to see as equals. The gallery exploded in noise. Gasps, murmurs, stunned silence. The bailiff looked from the judge to Malcolm, unsure of where his loyalty stood. Whitaker stammered, This is highly irregular. No, Your Honor, Malcolm cut in. What's irregular is a judge mocking defendants, rushing trials, and ignoring due process. What's irregular is a justice system where truth comes last. He stepped closer, his presence filling the room. You thought this was your courtroom, but today it belongs to the truth. Whitaker's gavel shook in his grip. He tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. For the first time in years, the judge had no power in his own courtroom. Outside, the story spread like wildfire. Cameras flashed. Reporters swarmed. The narrative flipped. The defendant wasn't just innocent. He was the man holding the system accountable. And the lesson? Power built on prejudice always crumbles when confronted by truth. How many others had stood in courtrooms like this one, mocked, dismissed, convicted, not because of evidence but because of bias? Malcolm had the knowledge and authority to fight back. But what about those who didn't? This wasn't just one case. It was a mirror, reflecting flaws too many pretend not to see. If this story made you pause, even for a second, share it. Because justice isn't just about the law. It's about people. And people can change if we force them to. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that matter.